It's official. Once again, the truck pros at Toyota of Escondido sold more new Toyota trucks than any other Toyota dealer. That means more smart buyers like you trusted Toyota of Escondido's Truck Center to find them the right truck for work or play.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
It makes sense to buy from the truck sales leader. Let Toyota of Escondido customize your new truck to fit your active lifestyle. Choose from lift kits, custom tires and wheels, and much more. Come experience a whole new way to buy your next truck.
Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota truck sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-643-6931 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-643-6931 to take your call now. Call 1-800-643-6931. That's 1-800-643-6931. Again, 1-800-643-6931.
Art Bell is back, and he's coming to KCAA.
There are a lot of people who think that we are Martians, that there's a strong possibility that we are Martians. That's why I said us. No, I'm serious. There was a civilization on Mars. That might have been us or our ancestors.
Nobody is more captivating than Art Bell.
Now, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is something here that defies logical explanation.
Tune into the best, Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell.
The only way you're going to get the American people to pony up the billions of dollars, however many hundreds of billions it would be to go to Mars, the only way you're going to get them to do that is to convince them that we have a real reason to go.
Want to take a ride?
Weeknights at 9 p.m. on KCAA. 1050 AM.
How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt completely forgiven, both the principal and interest? National Credit Card Relief wants to give you free information that shows you how. Thousands of people have used this program to have their credit card debt forgiven. So call now for free information and consultation. We'll give you the secret to this money-saving program absolutely free. Get eye-opening information that could save you thousands of dollars a year or a month, depending on how much you owe. In fact, the more you owe, the more you can save. All you need is $10,000 or more in credit debt, medical bills, or department store debt to qualify. Call for free debt forgiveness information now at 800-546-2909. That's 800-546-2909 to discover the secret to having your credit card debt forgiven. Call 800-546-2909. 800-546-2909. Don't wait. Call now. 800-546-2909.
Attention teachers, nurses, social workers, government employees, police officers, and firefighters. If you are still paying on student loans, then get ready for a special announcement. Your entire student loan can be forgiven. You heard correctly. Broadsword Student Advantage has free information on how you can potentially have the remaining balance of your student loan debt completely forgiven. We can help anyone with student loans potentially cut their payments in half, reduce their interest rate, or consolidate their outstanding loan. But if you are a teacher, nurse, social worker, government employee, police officer, or firefighter, you have the added benefit of potentially having your student loan completely forgiven. Call now for free information to find out how. Call 800-481-2993. That's 800-481-2993. Don't waste another payment on your old student loans. Call for your free information now. 800-481-2993. That's 800-481-2993.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk Radio Show. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. And if you're a regular and have been listening to our show for a while, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you tuning in and supporting our show. Smart Health Talk is also, this is like, we're kind of dependent on whatever kind of money can come in to keep the show going on. So if you'd like to help keep our show going on the air, feel free to send cash anytime over to Smart Health Talk. We love it. It helps us do a lot more work on helping to get the information out about what's really going on with our food. And, you know, this is, I feel like I'm a pretty patriotic person, and I've actually, you know, written letters back, longer than I want to admit, asking for our legislators to please support bills that are reducing the use of pesticides and GMOs in our food system. And there's a huge reason for that. As a matter of fact, the most widely used pesticide of all was just declared by the World Health Organization just less than a month ago, and they said that it is cancer causing. Roundup glyphosate, cancer causing. And these are the top, it was like 7 oncologists in the world that came up with this. So, you know, if we can't trust the people that know more than anyone on this subject, and they are saying that these pesticides are cancer causing, then we need to do something right away, because people are eating this stuff every single day. So everyone out there is increasing their risk of cancer. But not just that. We know that the pesticides in here that we have in these, the pesticides, the active ingredients, and not just the active ingredient, but the non-active ingredient, which is called an inert ingredient, which is so misleading. I mean, we have had guests on the show telling us that they could be using nuclear waste from nuclear power plants, nuclear waste, and who knows what all. They don't have to say what it is. They're not required to reveal that. And so this isn't the stuff that you're spraying in your home, because they're advertising this on television that it's okay to spray Roundup all around your house because you must eliminate the horrible, evil dandelion. The dandelion that makes those cute little yellow flowers that butterflies and other beneficial insects like. And they want you to poison it, and they want you to poison your family and your pets and your kids just to get rid of the dandelion. Now, I really think we should be thinking about that, because I really don't see any reason for it. I don't see any need to subject our family to those kind of toxins. And I want you to please mark your calendar for next Thursday, 4 o'clock, Smart Health Talk, because we're working on bringing the peer group back from Washington, D.C., and they are in the process of doing some other legislation that is so important. What people are being exposed to on a regular basis, it just is mind-boggling to me. And the way that people are talked into thinking these things are safe is totally misleading. I don't see where they're telling the truth whatsoever, because we know that these pesticides are the number one cause of birth defects. The number one cause of birth defects. And do you have any idea how much birth defects cost our country? And sickness and diabetes and all of these things are costing our country millions and billions of dollars. And not just that, but they're making us sick. We're poisoning our own population. Okay? And I have got some incredible, as a matter of fact, I have my baby here, Zoe. And this is my little baby, and we're going to feed my baby today. This is my pretend baby, but the sad part is that what we're going to be talking about today is actually the food that's being fed most of the babies in this country, and it is extremely frightening. When we start to actually kind of go through these ingredients that we're finding in these other products, I mean, I want to protect my baby. I want to protect my baby from any poisons, anything that's going to cause it to get cancer. If I'm pregnant with my baby and I don't want it to have birth defects, autism, I mean, these things are like lifelong sentences for our children. And not just that, but it's a lifelong sentence for our country, because many of these children could end up on disability for the rest of their life. And we pay for that. And we have to pay for the health care. I mean, some of these babies that end up in the ICU, people aren't aware that baby, one premature baby could actually cost millions of dollars before it even leaves the hospital. One baby. Millions of dollars. And it's not that we don't want to save the life, but we're looking at, could that have been prevented? Instead of spending millions of dollars on a premature baby to keep it alive, wouldn't it be better if we did all of the things necessary to keep that baby from being premature to begin with? And just think about how much better that is for everybody. What parent wants to have a premature baby and have to go through everything that they have to go through? We know that smoking is a big factor in premature babies. That's a big one. Speaking of smoking, this is off the subject of my baby, but I had it on my list of things that I wanted to mention. And that was, there's a lot of people that are using medical marijuana. And I don't know if you know it, but they are using some heavy-duty pesticides on that medical marijuana. And these are pesticides because this is like a very unregulated industry right now. These people are growing the weed. They don't want it to mold. It can get insects. But the pesticides that they're using are not food-grade pesticides. They're actually ornamental plant pesticides. So the kind of, plants you'd put in your house, this is what the greenhouses would use on those plants. And whether you know it or not, they're actually all of like Lowe's, Home Depot. When you go buy garden plants or any other kind of plant there, chances are it's been sprayed with pesticide before you even leave the store with it. The seeds may have been coated, and then the plant was also sprayed with pesticide. And I brought some of those home, and they were sick from day one. They never stopped being sick. I did try to pump them up, and I managed to save a few of them. But when I grew organic seeds from scratch, I grew the plants, totally different. I saw a totally different scenario. I saw a totally different plant. The health and vigor of the one that I grew from the organic seeds was uncomparable. And seeing a diseased leaf that's like browning and shriveling, practically as soon as it grows, from a little tiny baby, it's got all this disease on it. You're just like, what's going on, And it has to be a weak plant. And that's part of the problem that we have right now is we have depleted our soil. We treat these seeds with pesticides. We spray them with pesticides. They're weak. Weak. Well, guess who comes to get rid of those weak plants? Insects. They know. They got little antennae. Plants put vibrations out, and they can tell when there's a weak plant, and they'll attack it and get rid of it because it is a weak plant. And you think about it, it makes total sense. That's how we make sure that only the strongest plants survive. The insects actually help with that. And speaking of insects, we have talked a lot about insects on this show, the beneficial insects, the fact that we're killing them. I really want to encourage everyone to go to kcaradio.com. Look at Thursday, 4 o'clock. Look for our podcasts because we have a treasure trove of podcasts right there. I would like to encourage anyone that's listening, please go download our podcast for Smart Health Talk for the past month and a half, especially because there are some incredible things happening right now that affect every single one of us. People in our legislature are being paid huge money by lobbyists because these companies are billion dollar companies. They have money to burn. They don't care. They want to be number one. They want to keep getting their way. They want to keep getting what they want. And what they want is to monopolize every single aspect of our food system. So we have to buy GMO foods. We have to buy GMO seeds. If we so much as like buy an heirloom seed or exchange it with somebody else, we'll be breaking the law. And I am not kidding here. This is like right now, HR 1599. Please go look it up. HR 1599. And go look for us on Google, okay? Add Smart Health Talk to your Google circles, and you can find us on social media too. But if you go to my Google page, my Google Plus page, you can see where I decided to take some action and kill that bill. That's right. I went a little ballistic, everyone, but I'm trying to make a point here. Trying to make a point that this is serious stuff, okay? And I need you guys to listen to me. And it's, believe me, I have a lot of sacrifices to get here and be with you guys. And this is not for my benefit, it is for your benefit. It's because I care. I was lucky enough to have people invest in me and get an education. And this is part of my giving back. Because I love this country and I love the people in it. And I became a dietitian because I want to protect people against these companies. I want to protect you against the lies. I mean, the simplest thing, there was a Snapple bottle just sitting here, and I looked at the label, and it included pineapple and orange on the front of the label, and there was no pineapple or orange in that product. Why are they putting pineapple and orange fruit on the front of the bottle? They're deceiving people. And I watch commercial after commercial, and it is just such lies that are being fed the American people to trick you into buying products. And most of the time, these junk food products, you might find that they don't talk about the product. They just talk about how much fun you're going to have, or it's going to get you chicks, or just any of these things, to try to trick you into buying these products. Now, I want to get into... I wanted to mention the medical marijuana thing because I think a lot of people don't know that they're using pesticides that aren't even approved for going in our body. So those are some of the worst of the worst. But even Agent Orange, which was used in Vietnam, 2,4-D, is now in List Duo, and it has been approved to go on our food, to spray in our parks, to spray in our neighborhoods. And this stuff is so heavy duty. There was they sprayed in a park. There was one article that I read, and the entire neighborhood got ill and had to go to the hospital. I mean, this is, for what? When we have other ways, we have integrated pest management. They're spraying for West Nile virus. We have a group called the Healthy Alternative to Pesticides, Healthy HAP, Healthy Alternatives to Pesticide, and they are trying. They're like, hey, let us help you. Let us help you stop using these pesticides. They spray for West Nile virus. They kill the larvae on that day. Okay? But this larvae, you know, the mosquito larvae is being made every single day. And we go and we spray the predators, the fish, the skimmers, the bats, the frogs. They all die. I've talked to people that have watched it happen in a stream that goes right through their property. There was all kinds of predators. And after 7 years of spraying this West Nile virus right on people's houses, right in their yards, right on their organic gardens, this is happening. We are being forced to be subjected to this. Like we don't have a choice, but we do have a choice. Of course we have a choice. We can stop this together as a team. And I need some heroes out there. I'll tell you, I need some heroes to stand up and start educating other people. So many of us are holding back. You know, like we're keeping this information to ourselves, like we're afraid to talk about it. This is just what those companies want. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be afraid that we're going to insult somebody by actually caring about them and caring about their health. Well, maybe I shouldn't have even been on the air for 4 years. I don't know, you know, because to me it's the same thing. I'm here putting myself right here on the radio to talk to you guys, to tell you the truth that you're not getting on television. Because this is affecting your health. We're talking life and death. This is how serious it is. You want cancer? Well, the World Health Organization just said that the most used pesticide that's on pretty much everything that you're eating is cancer causing. How's that? Okay? You know, is that what you want? Oh, and then let's talk about the second most used pesticide, atrazine. Dr. Tyrone Banks out of Berkeley, he's been into frogs his whole life, even as a boy. He was collecting frogs. He was studying frogs. And when the makers, Syngenta of atrazine, came and said, oh, well, we want you to test this for safety, he said, okay. He exposed those frogs to the atrazine, and they turned into female frogs and were able to reproduce. This is the most second widely used pesticide in the country. And guys out there, it's turning you into females. And I think we can all agree that there's like some major gender things going on here in this country right now. Well, we're exposing our babies to all kinds of pesticides that are messing. They're called hormone disruptors. And they turn the little switches on and off, and they totally screw with you. And when you need to have a hormone, the switch is off. Thanks to atrazine and Roundup. And this can have devastating consequences. Devastating with so many different kinds of diseases, we don't realize it. If you want to tune in, you can go to kcaradio.com and click Ustream, and you could be seeing me right here in the studio and meet my baby, my baby Zoe. And I think that was the name that I called her the first time. But she is a really special baby because she represents all of the other babies in this country that are being subjected to ingredients in baby formula and food that they should never be subjected to. And if you tuned in to kcaradio.com and you clicked on Ustream, you would see all the stuff that I have in front of me here at the station. And I have some incredible vegetables that just came out of my garden. I just picked these this morning. And I have some beautiful crookneck squash, some yellow tomatoes, red tomatoes, some Cherokee purple tomatoes. I have a cucumber, and I have lots more stuff on the way. I have turnips. I have kale that I've got plenty of kale. All I have to do is go out there with the scissors, and I got enough kale to last me for a long time because it just keeps growing. Oh, you know, once I cut it, it grows some more. It's just so great. I just focus on those foods that I'm growing in my garden and a little bit of extra protein, and I feel fantastic. You know, it's not complicated, you know, and why are we putting our health in the hands of all these other people? The fast food industry. They are making food that is full of so many things that are bad for us, and you really think that tastes good? You know, that stuff, I mean, okay, yeah. Those big juicy burgers, yeah, that can be That can be good occasionally, but to tell you the truth, I eat one of those and I get sick. So, I just don't really see where that's helping prevent disease. And that's what I'm about. I want to prevent you from getting sick and dying or suffering in pain. And that's what happens when we get disease. It's not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty picture, and it's very, very expensive. So, one of the things that really affect our health as well is the air. And I just want to do a shout out to Senator Barbara Boxer. I called her office today. I left a message. I talked to Mark over there at the Inland Empire office for Senator Boxer. And I just want to congratulate Senator Boxer and the other Democrats that walked out on the committee meeting today discussing the fact that we're trying to get this carbon in our air under control. And just FYI, in case you don't know this, if you go on to smarthealthtalk.com, and you find our resources tab, under our resources tab, it says Rodale Director Mark Smallwood. And on there, we talk about the fact that we have so much carbon in the air right now. It is not if, but when the next huge catastrophic event is going to happen. Climate event, whatever. Something is going to be happening because we are at 400 parts per million carbon in the air right now. 400 parts per million, that we have not been at that rate for millions of years. We're talking dinosaur era here, okay? Not while the humans were here. Dinosaur. So that is how long it's been since we were at 400 parts per million. So we need to get it back down to 350. How are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we can stop pumping all this carbon in the air to begin with. And let me tell you, these energy companies, I remember a 60-minute interview with the guy that's like in charge of most of them. What an arrogant, you know what, okay? He does not care. He does not care about the carbon that he's putting in the air. He had absolutely no desire. They asked him, are you doing research to try and figure out how you can reduce the carbon on these, power facilities that you're running? What did he say? Oh, no, we started doing something. It didn't really work out, so we abandoned it. So the bottom line is they have not been doing anything to put any kind of money into trying to figure out how to stop all this carbon from their power plants going into our air. So why do you think they want to stop it? Because they haven't done anything. They don't care. They just figure they have so much money, they can keep paying everyone off and just keep doing what they're doing. If you go and look on Pinterest, on my Pinterest account, just type in Smart Health Talk with no spaces, and then type in Governor Hogan. And you'll find my posts on Governor Hogan and the graphic that I created, because he was the first Republican governor to go into office to take the office in Maryland for a long time. And the first thing he did within 24 hours is he stopped all legislation that they'd been working on for 10 years to clean up the air and to clean up the bay. And there were a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it was like 87% of the people in Maryland are breathing air the EPA says is unacceptable. 87% of the state is breathing air that can cause asthma and all kinds of other respiratory diseases. And plus we know that polluted air can cause cancer. It can cause all kinds of health problems. And so they just, even though they had done all this research at the universities, they had everyone on board. They were going to start implementing a plan to clean up the air. He stopped it within 24 hours after taking office. The other thing that happened is they had been working for 10 years to clean up. They're putting chicken manure from these chickens that are fed arsenic, antibiotics in these giant warehouses. They have killed 24 million chickens in the state of Iowa alone this year because they have a disease. They have a virus. They're growing them in these huge warehouses the size of a football field, which is just breeding salmonella and these other viruses. And that's why they're killing 24 million. Now, how do you know that the chicken that you got wasn't borderline sick? You know, you don't. And so then they're taking the poop from these chickens and they're just spreading it right on the ground. And that is not how you're supposed to do it at all. You are supposed to compost that manure first. And when you compost something, you get it super, super hot. Because the whole process of composting, that's what it does. It gets hot and it breaks everything down. But it also kills the bad bacteria that is in there. And it also grows good bacteria, just like our gut. So what are we doing? You know, we're out there just spreading this chicken manure, just spreading it right on top of the soil. And then they're watering or it rains. And where does it go? It's washing away into the rivers. It's then dumping into the bay, Chesapeake Bay. And I've been to Maryland. I know, I love Maryland. I really had a great time in Baltimore. And it's so cute because like all their little fire hydrants are all painted like crabs and the different seafood that they're known for. But unfortunately, because of this chicken manure, they have dead zones all over the Chesapeake Bay. And they're looking at losing $20 billion in potential revenue from the crab and lobster and other seafood industry because they're dumping this chicken manure on the land, and then it's going into the water and just killing everything. It doesn't belong there. Does not belong there. And yet they're just getting away with it. Why are we letting them get away with it when it's going to cost the state $20 billion? You know, everyone has to work together here. No one has, is more important. Why are the chicken people more important than the seafood people? You know, everyone has to work together there. No one needs to be acting like they're better than everybody else and they can get away with doing whatever they want. Hello? Okay. Sounded like my voice was kind of going away there. Okay. So what do? Okay. First of all, we are responsible. I'm getting like a weird sound in my microphone. Is it just in my headphone or is it in the microphone? Anyway, this is, we all have to decide if we're going to support this kind of industry. And once I start feeding my baby here and start going over some of the things that are actually, that I'm in the food that I'm feeding my baby, I would like to invite you to, oh, we're going to change headphones here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I would like to invite you to go and do this research for yourself. I'm sure that most people listening to me, they either have some kind of baby in their family. You know, someone's had a baby or someone's pregnant. And wouldn't you wish for them the healthiest birth that they could possibly have and the healthiest baby? What more could we wish for a new mother and parents? To have a healthy baby, right? Well, how do you ensure that? I mean, the thing is, when we're giving our baby these foods that have these ingredients in them that are full of poisons and other toxins, you know, we're playing Russian roulette with our baby's life and their future and the ability of their body to be healthy and their brain to be functioning at top level. And these pesticides lower the IQ of our children as much as 7 points, which is huge. It's just huge. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of, let's say that I am going to be feeding my baby. my baby's a little bit older, and so I've started putting it on baby food. And if I would go and get some peaches, because we know we love to feed our baby fruit, right? Because it's sweet and they love it and they're not spitting it out all the time like they are the carrots and peas. Sorry, I had to pick some stuff up. So we love to feed them the fruit, right? Because they like that. Well, if you go get a jar of baby food and it has peaches in it, just FYI, they have detected 62 pesticide residues on peaches. 62. And 8 of them are known to be probable carcinogens. 8 of them, of the pesticides in there. We have 24 that are hormone disruptors, which we just finished talking about. They turn the switches on and off, and they block your body from getting the hormones that they need. Or maybe they're making too much of another one that you don't need. All of this can lead to cancer. 12 neurotoxins. What does the word neurotoxin mean? Neuro means nerve. Toxin means poison. Oh, a nerve poison. What does a poison do? It kills. It mutates. It destroys DNA, the very blueprint of the cell. If the DNA is destroyed, that cell could duplicate as a mutant. And that's how cancer gets started. 9, developmental or reproductive toxins. 9 developmental or reproductive toxins in those peaches. Environmental effects, 20 honeybee toxins. So to create a peach, look what we got to create along with it. Carcinogens, hormone disruptors, developmental and reproductive toxins, and we have to kill massive amounts of honeybees. This is what it takes for us to have a peach. This is what we're forced, the system that we're forced to support, to eat. Who signed up for that? Who signed up and said, oh, I want to kill massive amounts of bees. I want to subject myself and my children to these neurotoxins and other poisons that could cause all kinds of diseases. None of us are saying that we want this. So we have to start saying we don't want this. And you know what? I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anyone else, but I never bought 1 jar of baby food for 2 children. Not once. I made every single bit of baby food myself. It was so easy. All I had to do was get some peas and mush them. I put them through a little ricer machine that had a twister thing. I'd make potatoes, peas. I'd bake a sweet potato and just mush it up. Banana. No problem. I mean, I saved so much money. I can't believe how much they charge for those little jars of toxins. Is pretty much what it is. Okay, let's see. Let's feed our baby something else. Okay. Okay, bananas. We were just talking about bananas, right? Okay, bananas have 3 known carcinogens, the pesticides that have been found on bananas, 4 suspected hormone disruptors, 2 neurotoxins, which we know what that word means now, right? And 3 developmental or reproductive toxins and 3 honeybee toxins, all on the bananas. Plus, they will also spray them just to kill spiders and other things before they put them on the boat. This one really surprised me. Now, we know it's not safe to feed grapes. Raisins, maybe not either to really young children, but I happen to know that there is a huge USDA program to bring raisins to children in school. And it is subsidized by the government. And so they're serving raisins to our kids at school all the time. And just FYI, 26 pesticide residues were found on raisins. And atrazine, which was the pesticide we were talking about earlier that turns the male frogs to female frogs, that is a huge one that is used on grapes. And 26 pesticide residues, 8 probable carcinogens, 11 suspected hormone disruptors, 5 neurotoxins, 5 developmental and reproductive toxins, and 9 honeybee toxins on raisins. Yeah. And they got like a raisin guy and everything. They try to really push those raisins on the kids. And, hey, as a dietitian, I'd be okay with it if it was organic raisins, because you know what? As soon as they put a family, and if you type in Swedish family, that no pesticide diet, you will probably find that in YouTube. And this is just recently done. They tested their urine full of pesticides on a conventional diet. As soon as they switched to an organic diet, the pesticides became practically non-existent. And we are talking multiple pesticides in their urine. And trust me, the parents, after they saw this, what do you think they want? Do you think they want to keep giving those pesticides to their kids after they experienced that firsthand and saw the results of the test from the lab? Heck no. They're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? How many of us think peanut butter is like such a great food for kids? 8 pesticide residues. We have a carcinogen. We have 5 hormone disruptors. We got neurotoxin. We got developmental reproductive toxins, 2 of them, and 2 honeybee toxins, just from peanut butter. And you can buy baby food that has meat in it as well. And think about it. First of all, the meat, it's fed GMO alfalfa. They feed it GMO corn. They feed it GMO cottonseed, which is the most heavily sprayed toxic pesticide of all, because they put it on cotton, making it look like, oh, that's not an edible product. When actually cottonseed oil, cotton seeds go in all kinds of feed given to animals. And so when you're eating beef, you're getting all of these toxins, and especially in the fat. That's where things are really, really concentrated. And to give you an example, I've got a couple of them here. Beef fat. 13 pesticides in the beef fat. And again, the same type of ones that we're talking about. But we also have to remember that there was GMOs used along with, all these other things that are slipped into their food system. So we're not even really counting all of those. And 13 pesticide residues in the beef fat, and then 19 in butter. Okay, and remember, fat is where all the toxins are stored. So when we're eating these fats that come from animals that have been fed these pesticides and GMOs and all kinds of antibiotics and other things to keep them alive and to help them to get fatter faster, because antibiotics help animals get fat faster. Now you're taking them. Okay. Could be doing that to you too. Making you fat faster. So that's how much. 19 pesticide residues in butter, and 10 of those were suspected hormone disruptors, 8 honeybee toxins. So it kind of takes the fun away from butter. Now, apple juice. How many of us, I tell you, I work for WIC. I know what they're serving to the participants at WIC. And WIC can be a good program because, as we talked earlier, when we prevent a premature birth, it can save millions of dollars that we could take and feed other children and other pregnant women to prevent even more premature births. So feeding our kids at school, feeding our pregnant women and our children, all of these things are cost effective. For every dollar that we spend, we save like over $3 because we prevent disease. We prevent premature births. We prevent birth defects. So why are we not feeding the best? Because if we can just give them the food, and then if we could give them better food, that means the outcomes are going to be even better, especially to our children at school, to have organic food. And we wonder, I had so many food service directors say, oh, I try to give them apples, and they just throw them in the trash. Well, that apple juice has 13 pesticides on it. And let's see if I have applesauce here. Applesauce has 19 pesticides. Okay? And I know that a regular apple can even have more. So, we act like these children don't know that we're slipping them a bunch of poison. Maybe they do know that. And what really surprised me was that high fructose corn syrup, they say that it doesn't have any pesticides in it when corn is one of the most highly sprayed of all. And when we look at the ingredients that's in the baby food, like the first few ingredients are pretty much all corn products. High fructose corn syrup, this, we have all kinds of like really fun ingredients that they will use in there that are just cheap ingredients that they're putting into the formula. But we do have a choice. You can choose to buy organic formula. Unfortunately, some of them are still have some undesirable products in there. But a lot of they need a carbohydrate in the formula. So most of the time they choose corn syrup, sugar, brown rice syrup. Corn syrup, like I just said, the corn is one of the most highly sprayed and GMO crops of all. And so why would you want to have that in formula? The most important thing that you can do as a mother is to breastfeed. And actually, breastfeeding is the greatest gift you can give your child. And I really feel for the moms out there that tried, and they had too many problems. They couldn't do it. I really respect you for trying. But sometimes, if you don't have the right teacher and support, that can make a big difference too. Because some may try and they give up too easy when if they think that maybe they should be making gallons of breast milk there, where, they can't understand why they're making just a small amount of breast milk. The thing is, like when a baby's first born, their stomach is the size of a half of a walnut shell. So you think about how much milk you could put in a half of a walnut shell. It's not very much. So these women, I think they feel like, oh, I should be like making like a cup of milk here or something. And they're just making, the half of the walnut shell with milk because that's how big their stomach is. But as they grow and as they need more, they're going to nurse longer and you're going to make more milk. And that's just how it works. That's how the system works. You don't have to feel like, I'm inadequate kind of thing. And that breast milk has all of the antibodies like you've made your entire life fighting to fight off disease. It's all right there in your breast milk. So you give that gift protecting your baby from all of those different things, all the immunoglobulins, all the fat that's great for their brain. It's just like the most beautiful thing of all. And yes, it's a lot of work, but you have a baby. That's your job. At first, that's all you got to do is just focus on the nursing. And I'm so excited that so many celebrities have decided to breastfeed. They're just like, hey, I'm doing it. Olivia, oh God, what's her last name? I'm trying to remember her. But she's really beautiful. She was on House. I have a great picture of her breastfeeding on a train or something like that. And it's just such a beautiful thing, and the bonding that happens between the mother and the baby. It's like healthy for the mom. It's healthy for the baby. You lose weight like way faster. I mean that right there should be enough to make you want to do it. So breastfeeding is always my number one choice, and just go for as long as you can. If you can make it 6 months, that's ideal. at least 6 months. You can go even longer, a year or so. That's perfectly fine. And your baby will be strong and healthy. And if your baby gets if it gets a fever or something like that, you want to just keep breastfeeding. You could put them like in a cool bath, but the breastfeeding will actually help build their immune system and help them through the sickness. And so many people, they freak out and they think, oh my gosh, I've got to get rid of this fever. When actually a fever can be a positive thing, and that when your body heats up, it's killing all the bad bacteria. Now, of course, if the fever gets anywhere over 103 degrees, you have to start really watching, because 104 is serious. And at 103, you probably be thinking about maybe calling the doctor. But you can try using cool baths and breastfeeding, because that's what I did. And it worked just fine. And my kids didn't need antibiotics. I never even gave them antibiotics. Pretty much, I think it wasn't until my daughter was a teenager and she had an abscess on her tooth was the first time I even allowed it. So, we just so quick to, turn to these other things, because we've been brainwashed by all of these commercials thinking that this is what we have to do, when there are other choices. And I just encourage you to research and find out what all your choices are. You don't have to follow my advice, and I always advise people to, talk with their doctors and all that. But don't think that you just have to immediately go to these children's Tylenol and all the. We are finding out that Tylenol, ibuprofen, all of these things have incredible side effects, damaging our liver and other vital organs. So, don't be so quick to think that you have to use all of these different things, and that a fever is evil. A fever can actually be a positive thing, as long as it's within, a safe temperature. So that, another thing, we just were talking about the apple juice, and at WIC, the foods that they, I'm so glad that they have the farmers market program. And anyone that's on WIC, I advise you to highly, if they still have that program, please take advantage of it. Go to the farmers market. You get fresh organic produce, and it's a lot cheaper, so you can stretch those dollars out even further. But all these juices and these other foods that they're giving, juice is supposed to, they're saying, oh, this juice is like a fruit. No. I don't buy that whatsoever. Pretty much all those juices are refined. They're full of pesticides. They've been heated. I don't really see any nutrition in there. I see a bunch of sugar and pesticides, and I don't see where there's any value. So please stay away from the juice. Freshly made juices, by using like a NutriBullet or something like that, where you've got the whole vegetable in there. Now that's a whole different thing. And especially if you've got organic vegetables, freshly made juices are one thing. These highly refined juices, and milk. Drinking way too much milk. This milk, like, it's just the same as the meat, full of all these different things. They use oils in these formulas, palm oils, from places where they're destroying the rainforest. They're getting rid of habitats for orangutans and all kinds of other animals. With this palm oil, they put that in there. They try to recreate the special fats that a mom makes, and other immune boosting ingredients that mom has in her breast milk. And it's just some of the sources that they're using are highly questionable, and they use the process that they use with these ingredients are using solvents that we know are cancer causing. So please, let's feed our babies healthy foods. Consider making your own baby food. You can buy organic baby food or whatever, but I'm telling you, you could save a lot of money just by making your own. It's not hard. Please consider breastfeeding your baby, and don't think that you just have to use formula. Check out all the organic formulas. Honest brand, which is Jessica Alba, is behind that. That's a brand that you might consider, and Babies Only is another one that I highly recommend. But I wouldn't buy anything but organic formula myself. Okay, and please go to Amazon.com and type in Sun Oxidants because we have some incredible products on sale there with a coupon, and that helps support Smart Health Talk. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Elaine McFadden saying bye-bye, and please choose organic food. Thanks, bye.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
Came from the military. More people appear to be canceling pricey cable TV subscriptions in favor of cheaper streaming services like Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon Prime. That had investors dumping out of big media stocks today, leading to another drop on Wall Street. The Dow down 120 points, the Nasdaq down 83 on a sell-off in biotech stocks. Strong earnings after the bell from personal care products maker Nu Skin and visual computing company NVIDIA and fast food joint Bojangles. And Louisiana's Office of Motor Vehicles says it's running low on the mix of letters and numbers on state license plates, and it may even run out. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Have you had trouble with online dating? This is eHarmony founder Dr. Neil Clark Warren. We've created a new solution, EH Plus. EH Plus combines